Alright guys, we are under the car. So, we have the first pipe that we're going to install is actually the up pipe, right? This is the one you want us to install first. Before we do that, for you guys who have not punched your cats, you might want to consider doing it. It's up to you. I've driven and ridden this car, tested it without the cats punched, and I've done it obviously with them. It does spool up faster with the cats punched, about 300, 400, 500 RPMs, roughly kind of where you're expecting it to be. Might be even that might be a little bit overstated, maybe 200-300 RPMs. But what you're looking at here is to take it out. You have a YOLO way and a safe way. The safe way is take your exhaust manifolds off your car, take them down, punch them outside of the vehicle. That's going to add quite a few hours.
It's going to add at least 4 or 5 hours to your job, depending on how good you are.
Exactly. So if you're going to do it the YOLO way, I recommend full goggles, face mask, make sure that your air passages and everything are fully covered. But what you're going to do YOLO way or outside the car, you want to get a hex extension, then get a 1-inch spade drill bit. Take that out. We don't have the extension on it right now, but that's fine. And you take this and you go in right here in the bottom and then it's just going to start falling out. We've already done it, so there's nothing in there. But if you have the extension, you can get it nice and long and just
goes right in there.
And it goes right in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to break up the bits. Then you're going to take a shop vac, help vacuum that out. Then you take a bright light, shine it up in there, and see if there's anything that's still in there. You can see, I don't know if you can see from that video, from the angle, but it is perfectly clear in there. So that's what you would want to do. I'd also recommend if you're going to do it on the car, this would obviously be already not the case if it's off the car, but if you're still on the car, make sure you remove your O2 sensors first.
Yes.
You do not want to damage them.
Yeah, you never want to drill with your O2 sensors inside.
Bad idea. All right, so now that your cats are drilled or not drilled, whatever it is, we will talk about installing this pipe. So we've included in the kit, because like everything, the kit includes everything you need. We included new what's it called?
Lock nuts.
Lock nuts, yeah, lock nuts with flanged lock nuts for you here to install them. So they will use a 17 millimeter. And they'll fit right on these things. Now, if you have you're in the north and your studs are a little rusty, go ahead and clean them up, wire brush, something like that. Make sure they're nice and cleaned first, and then you can use these. Now,
anti-seize is king.
Anti-seize is king for sure. This is actually very important. You're gonna want your buddies, just like everything else in the kit. It's easier with a buddy to help you on this. So you're gonna need to put your gasket in place. It's gonna be kind of fun without multiple octopus hands. You want to be able to angle this up to this spot here.
Octopus.
And then hang on that. I'll pull it right in place.
You're gonna have to play with it, just so you know.
Yeah. Perfect. Easy. Then you take your nut. And get it on there.
We can't see you, Alec. The gold is so reflective.
You can come back down here with the camera then.
All right. Guess we have to drop down on the ground again. Noise is also not included in the turbo kit.
Not included. So the one on the outside is easy. You're not going to have any real troubles with that one. So it's just a 17 millimeter. You want to kind of position it pretty tight on the pipe like that. And like that. Good.
No
Now,
ugga-duggas yet.
No ugga-duggas yet. What you want is You want to kind of get it nice and flat up against the flange. Just kind of tap it in place. Good. Now, this is the one that's not as fun, where you have to get that 17 onto this unit. I recommend, since it's going to be difficult, trying to use a 17mm wrench. That's going to really make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, like, you want to show us exactly where that is? Because I can't show it from where my position is.
So if you look right in here, there it is, that one. This is fun times here, guys. So you want to get your 17 all up on there. And you want to try and tighten it down as tight as you can. This is going to take a long time unless you have a nice small 17, which I know we have somewhere, but it's not available at the moment. So
Are you able to use a ratcheting wrench, or is it too...
you could use a ratcheting wrench. That would, if you had a ratcheting wrench, this is one of the reasons why you want it. This would actually make it really easy.
Good to know.
But yeah, what you want to do is you want to get that all in there and tighten. So what we'll do is we'll tighten that up and we'll get back to you. All right, everything's nice and tight up in there. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install your O2 sensor. I recommend that you put part of the thermal sleeve onto the O2 sensor first, and then put it into the slot that is included in the kit right there.
Remember, kids, anti-seize 02 sensors.
Anti-seize. And one tip and pro tip here. If you see up here, you can see that the O2 sensor is on a little clip. If you remove it on that little clamp, you slide it up, and then you can, from there, you can actually get it so that you can easily remove it from the plug. So you just kind of pull up, there it is, and you remove it from the plug, and then you can just spin it in freely. Okay, makes it real easy. So get it in by hand, assuming again you've used anti-seize. Then it's like that. Then you can use a 17mm. Is it a 17mm?
For the O2 socket?
O2 sensor.
The O2 sensor itself, you will use the O2 socket.
Yeah, use the O2 socket to make it nice and tight.
If you don't have an O2 socket and you're in a really big pinch, a lot of times it's a 22mm.
22 as it is. So 22mm. Then once it's nice and tight, you go ahead and you plug that back in to the sensor wire. Again, now you have your thermal heat shield on it. Always easier when you have multiple hands. Trying to do it with one hand is fun. And then you can go ahead and put this back onto will mount. Okay. Alright, now it's next to the other side. Next, putting on the merge piping, or the U-pipe, as some people will call it.
Whichever one you're going to call it.
Whatever. So what you want to do is line up this area here, and you're just going to finagle it until the pipe goes into it, into the other area where the up pipe. Finagle that in. Then you're going to line up your flange. Make sure you've got your gasket in place. And get the flange on. And then kind of push the pipe in. Depending on the automatic, you might have to pull it back maybe a couple of millimeters, but it should fit just fine. We actually tested it, no issues. So, you take your 2 new nuts, flange nuts.
Those ones should be easy to bolt on.
Yeah, real easy. Does need a little bit of ugga-dugga. And you're good to go. Again, 17 millimeters. And this right here is going to use the slip fitting compression clamp right here. So if you look here, the compression clamp will actually fit right on here to seal that up. So we'll go ahead and get that and show you that. So next you're going to take your clamp. It actually goes straight out. This is stainless steel. So you're going to go ahead and take it over the side and you go ahead and do like this and put it over the bolts. And you're going to take this part, put that there, and then take the bolts here.
Face the nuts down so that it's easier to access them, or to the side, like the passenger side.
Yeah.
And once again, since this is an exhaust part, anti-seize.
You will be happy later.
Yes, you will thank us later.
And snug them up by hand.
And then ugga-dugga as much as you want.
Ugga-duggas. It's not super critical which side you go on. You just want to make sure that this is kind of out of the way, so that it's not going to ride on the, for some of you guys who are just all about that
Dirt nasty, low.
low and slow.
Ooh,
Hopefully now you'll be
fired.
low and fast.
Right.
You know, just
Low
want to
and
go
go
ahead
is
and
what
get
they'll
it.
call it.
Low and go. You want to get that up in there, and then you'll go ahead and tighten those down. Okay, and that's how you do that. We're not going to show that because again, we just for time constraints. Next, we're going to show you how to hook up your wastegate. This is your wastegate. It's 44 millimeter wastegate. This one's obviously old. It's we've been running this for 3 years. You're going to want to have it, you know, the connection for your vacuum line on the bottom, not on the top, unless you are using an electronic boost controller. If you're just doing a manual boost controller, or just you're using just the 6-pound spring, you want it on the bottom. This will not work. This will work. You have to use this for the boost. Now, to hook it up, we already went ahead and hooked up the dump tube. So this is the same thing. You'll see what we mean here. You take this. This is a fire ring. If you do not have your fire ring in here, this will never seal properly. You will have an exhaust leak all day, and you won't hit boost for a very, very long time. So the fire ring sits right here inside of the wastegate. You come up here, and then it's like that. Okay? That's how it is. Now you take this clamp. This, you're going to have to work a little bit at it. It's just takes a little bit of finagling.
And octopus hands.
And octopus hands. To be able to get it so that you can get the whole thing on and tight. It's on both sides? I think it is.
It is. It looks
All right. It looks like it's on both sides. That was actually a lot easier than it has been in the past.
Look at that. Having people helping you out makes everything
It really
a million times
does.
easier.
It really does. So now that you have it, go ahead and take, I recommend that you put the bolt side this way and not against,
It's under the
under the underbody.
for you.
There it is. Like so. Now, just kind of work it.
Now, Alec, does it matter how the wastegate is oriented? This way.
So what you're
that
going to want
way?
it, it's going to, the wastegate's eventually going to go kind of perpendicular to the ground. Or parallel, sorry, to the ground.
Parallel to the ground.
Yeah.
Like
that. But we're not going to tighten it all the way up yet. We're just going to make sure it's kind of hand tight until we get our downpipe in place.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get the downpipe in place, then you can kind of do it all and get it all up in there properly. Okay. All right. So that's kind of how you hook up the wastegate. There you go.
Let's work on the downpipe.
Downpipe time.
All right, it's turbo time. Really quick, before you do that,
this up pipe, see how it has play? When you're putting this on, until you have everything bolted up, do not tighten the bolts to your exhaust flange, okay? Put it on, make sure they're, relatively snug, but you need to have flex, you need to have some play. Unfortunately, it's gonna sit on the frame rail, but if you have it so tight on that you can't move it, you're not gonna be able to put this V-band clamp on for the turbo. So, that being said, turn your turbo up. You're gonna spin it around so that the exhaust pipe lines up. You're gonna have to finagle this a little bit. Like that. And of course you have to make sure that your turbo is gonna sit inside that V-band clamp for it to fit properly. And once again, this is where octopus hands are really helpful. So,
There you go.
just like that.
Oh.
And now, you see how we've oriented the V-band clamp? Anti-seize. Anti-seize. Even if it's not going to rust, anti-seize. I'm telling you right now. Now that that's on, push it down with your hand. Get the nylock that's provided. And you are going to gun this down in the end. Not yet. Also a good time to get this harness as far out of the way as possible from the turbo exhaust housing. Like that. See that? The turbo blanket's going to come over here and it's going to protect everything. This isn't going to sit under it.
And that's why this is at this point in time. Then you go ahead and hook up the ground, and you go ahead and zip tie everything out of the way.
Exactly. Alright.
So we'll go ahead and do that real quick and get back.
Yep.
Alright guys, so when you're doing the oil drain line, you're going to want to pull the fitting out a little bit actually towards the compressor. And then you're going to want to run it down here over top of the line coming in from the oil cooler. And want it around here. And then it's going to snake back down, and with the 90-degree fitting, sorry, we've mentioned a 45 earlier, it's actually two 90s that you get on your oil drain line. The 90-degree fitting, it will fit right there onto the oil pan, right? And that's it. It'll keep it nice and far away from the belt and make sure that everything is good. So that's how you route it. Right underneath here, right underneath the radiator hose, and go to around the front, down into the block. So 90-degree fitting is what you need. All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and hook up the downpipe. All right, right before the downpipe, we need to make sure this channel is nice and open here. So what we're doing is we are taking different parts of our harness here, and we are timber. We are zipping it up and out of the way. All right, so take the multiple zip ties that we give you.
Put them to good use.
Put them to good use. So take that part and over there. And that's all out of the way. Good.
Yep.
And then you can see we still got plenty of area wear here with the turbo where it's going to sit. The harness is plenty out of the way, nice and clean. What we're going to do is put one more zip tie here, run it through this hole.
It's almost like it was made for that.
Yeah, almost. And then, there you go. Nice. Keeps everything out of the way. And so we have nothing to worry about with our turbo. Now this is here. Go ahead and snip these. Snip them nice and clean. Then you can go ahead and run the downpipe. Alright. So you guys understand how this works. All we need to do is slip this in, downpipe 1, from the top of the engine bay. This is how a downpipe tube works up, and you can see here that they actually fit in to one another, right? Then you use, just like you had on the other part, a compression clamp, and that's all it is, right? We're not going to show this part, it's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously you use the new bolts to hook up to your cat bag exhaust. Very simple. Okay, before you put the downpipe in, you need to take this heat shield, which is normally bent down, and you need to use a hammer to bend it up like that, okay? That's all you need to do, pretty simple, and then you're ready.
All right, guys, so 2 quick things before we put the turbo downpipe in. One is the U-pipe down there that we put the slip joint on that we showed you. You're actually going to have to take that slip joint off for now, and you're going to have to angle the U-pipe down to have enough space to move this. Another thing that's going to get in the way for now is the power steering reservoir. So we just went ahead and took the 10mm bolt out of that right here, and you're going to move this just out of the way for the next 2 minutes until this downpipe is in and everything is bolted up on the hot side. Then you can re-bolt it again. So with that being said, once again, octopus hands, you're going to need a lot of help from one of your friends here because it's going to be a lot of rotating. You're going to start it with the downpipe facing up, slide it in, rotate counterclockwise a little bit, push down more, rotate counterclockwise again, and you're going to have to basically finagle it a few times to get it to fit properly. There you go. So that's where having your friend helps you out. V-band clamp goes in on this, and once that's done, the hard side of the hot piping is done. The end of this pipe is a slip joint that goes to the Y pipe, as you know, Alec has showed you before. All right, guys, so as of right now, we tightened down the V-band clamps going to the up pipe for the turbo right there, and the turbo down pipe, and the turbo is on. As you can see, there's a lot of space between the harness and the turbo, and the only thing that is contacting on the turbo is the turbine on the frame rail. That's fine, everything else is away. The downpipe is bolted securely on. That's it.
Alright, this is the very last thing here before we get ready to do the intercooler piping. Fitting up the rest of the exhaust. Obviously, we put back our merge piping, or slash our U-pipe. We use this right here, compression clamp here over the portion that comes into the up pipe. So make sure that's nice and tight. Obviously it's not right now, but that's just how it is, right? We would either obviously do that for when we're finalizing the car. Alright, so what you want to do for this right here, this clamp has to go here between the downpipe and the frame. You can see here there's not enough room between the downpipe and the merge pipe. There's just not enough. So what you want to do is you want to get your wrench, preferably a ratchet, put it on here, and we'll put the correct wrench size there. I believe it's 14, but we'll put the correct one there in the video. Put that on the top, and then you want to take your opposing socket with your impact, hold on to the wrench, and drive it up, right? That'll get a nice tight seal there with the pipe. You want to do the same thing for the other side, and then you're done. Then back here, for the your downpipe here to your catback exhaust, you run your our
Flanges.
flanges and our gaskets that we give you in between here and the catback. You just align those, and then we have some additional bolts here for you guys for your exhaust. Then obviously when you're running it up, you'll push it up there once it's together, and you'll actually attach it back to the exhaust hangers. And then after that, you are done with hooking up your exhaust, hooking up the turbo, and hooking up all your hot side piping. Now it's time for the intercooler.